Good afternoon, Anchor Church, friends of the Anchor. My name is Jamie Thompson. I am the new pastor serving with you and coming at you this afternoon for a few short minutes to give you some sermon nuggets from today. I'm just experimenting here. Everything's an experiment. Rather than preaching my whole sermon, that's something that I haven't really found the bandwidth to do at this point. But I thought I could pop on here for a short time and kind of give you some highlights, a little Reader's Digest version of the sermon today. I preached on Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. And in that passage of scripture, Jesus visits the household of these two sisters, Martha and Mary. For folks who have grown up in church, been in church a lot, we've kind of heard this story a lot. It's fairly popular one. Essentially, Martha is busying herself, working around the house, doing good, important work, acts of hospitality and welcome and ministry, really. If we look at the original words there, Martha is doing a lot. Mary is sitting at the feet of Jesus, listening, hanging on his every word, and Martha and Jesus have this really great exchange. So one of the things we talked about this morning is the importance of being able to empathize with Martha. Essentially, Jesus looks at her, and after she's kind of exploded, a mini explosion, and really sort of talked sternly to Jesus, asking him if he cares, telling him to make her sister help her. Martha's really in a tizzy. And Jesus looks at her and says, Martha, Martha, you are worried and distracted about many things. And we spoke this morning about all the ways this scripture has done a lot of harm. It's made women especially feel guilty, feel like, we're supposed to be doing stuff, but now I'm doing stuff and Jesus is reprimanding me. And it's a scripture that on a first reading, it kind of looks like Jesus is pitting these sisters against one another. And so we spoke this morning about kind of all the ways we don't want to read this text, ways that aren't helpful or life-giving. So I kind of invited folks who worshiped at the Anchor this morning to think about how Jesus meets Martha in her stormy anxiety. Martha is a wreck because she sees how important this meeting is, this dinner, this occasion, where she gets the chance to invite Jesus into her home. Martha doesn't take it lightly, and honestly, she's just trying to do the very best with all of these expectations. Martha's feeling the pressure, and she wants to do well. And we can all kind of relate to that. Jesus meets her in that anxiety, in that panic-stricken moment, and he basically just gently calls her back in to the present moment. And one of the things that I spoke this morning were sort of these words. Jesus isn't calling Martha out for all that she's doing. Jesus is basically calling her back in from that uproar that's going on inside of her. And Jesus speaks these calming words, Martha, Martha. It's as if Jesus is saying, the most important thing in this moment is to be present at this beautiful feast that you have worked so hard for. Sit down. Stop rushing about. You don't have to make everything perfect. It's all good enough. Be here in this moment. Notice and pay attention to God in your midst. And the great thing is that Jesus is also present with Mary in this moment. There's not this scolding. There's not this, this is the best thing for all time in all situations. Jesus is actually inviting us to discern what the present moment calls for. And as I begin this new chapter as pastor of the Anchor, I really need to hear this word myself, friends. If we are always running and rushing around, even doing good, important, necessary things, we will very well miss the presence of God as well as where the Spirit is leading us moving forward. So, I'm going to leave you with that word. Rather than ask, oh, am I supposed to sit still and listen, or am I supposed to get up and do? Which is it? Which is it? Which is it? The answer is yes. And I think this text is a beautiful invitation for us to think about how we can discern what is most needed in any given moment and in any given time, trusting that Jesus meets us where we are. Jesus meets us where we are. And for those of us who are feeling that stormy anxiety, wondering if we'll ever be able to meet all that's been placed on us, Jesus speaks a calming word, not a scolding word, but a calming word. In this moment, be still. Sit with us. Be present to this feast. Thanks for watching. See y'all soon.